Hi, my name is Ben and I'm the co-founder of Ascend Finance. Today we're going to cover the Chapter 7 bankruptcy process. We really couldn't find any information out there that really kind of walked through the step-by-step process on YouTube. So we really wanted to take this video to kind of help you understand the Chapter 7 bankruptcy process step by step to give you the most information for your situation. Welcome to Ascend Finance's YouTube channel, where we take complex terms and issues such as Chapter 7 bankruptcy process and we break them down into simple, understandable human language. Before we begin, I want to chat with you about just Chapter 7 bankruptcy qualification and cost. And these are two of the most crucial things to understand. I just want to share that we do have a Chapter 7 calculator, a free resource that I put in the description of the video that helps you first estimate the Chapter 7 qualification based on the means test data in your state, and also the cost based on a lot of different data that we looked at to help you estimate the Chapter 7 qualification and the cost for your specific information. Before the rest of this video, you can kind of know whether you may qualify and what the cost would be, so just make sure it's a viable option for you. Let's get started with the 10 steps to file bankruptcy. Now this video is a bit long, so I hope you can bear with me, but we did put chapters below that would help you kind of decide which option and where you want to go in the video. Number 1, gathering your information and documents. Before completing the bankruptcy forms, you need to kind of understand and gather information regarding your debts, your assets, and income and expenses. The first things you can do is get a free copy of your credit report from all the 3 credit bureaus, which you can find using the government resource, and I can put a link in the description so you can kind of really understand that. In addition to the credit report, you may need copies of the following documents: tax returns for the past 2 years, current pay stubs, and proof of income from all the sources from the past 6 months, recent credit card bills, loan statements, and any other evidence of the debts that you owe. A bankruptcy attorney would be able to walk through most of these things, but I just wanted to kind of share with you the behind the scenes process to help you kind of understand what it is. Next, you'd probably need titles and registrations of all your motor vehicles titled in your name alone or with another person. You'll also want to know your current household expenses, including your utility bills, your lease or mortgage payment, your rent, etc. You'll also want to know your real estate appraisals and the deeds to your property. Finally, any other documents that relate to your income, expenses, debts, and assets can really be helpful in your filing. Gathering as much information as possible before you begin is essential. Being prepared helps you avoid mistakes and decide if filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy is the right option for you. Completing the Chapter 7 bankruptcy means test. Before going any further, you may want to complete the Chapter 7 means test using the bankruptcy forms. Our Chapter 7 bankruptcy calculator below is based on the means test, so it kind of helps you estimate the Chapter 7 qualification. The means test determines if you meet the income requirements for a bankruptcy discharge under Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The bankruptcy discharge is the order that removes your legal responsibility to repay the debt. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is intended for individuals who do not have enough money to repay their debts after paying their living expenses. And our Chapter 7 calculator is built specifically to kind of help you estimate that option. Before I begin, I just want to have a caveat. Beware. Income requirements are based on where you live and how many people live in your households. These figures are adjusted for inflation every few months. Also, some expenses may be limited based on household expenses, such as utilities, food, and clothing. Those things are really important to understand. Also, the most recent figures are provided on the United States Trustee's website. In the center of the page is a box entitled Data Required for completing the 122A forms and the 122C forms. You can choose that option box to select your filing date for the most recent figures to see the information related to your specific state and household size. 3. Next, you need to complete the credit counseling course. If you pass the Chapter 7 means test, you would want to probably complete the credit counseling course. The credit counseling course is the first of 2 required bankruptcy courses required to file bankruptcy without an attorney or with an attorney and obtain a bankruptcy discharge. Credit counseling courses are offered online by many approved companies set by the government. The fees generally range between $10 and $50, and the United States Trustee Office provides a list of approved companies on its website. You must use approved company by the United States Trustee for bankruptcy courses. If your income is low enough, you may be able to receive the class free of charge. 4th, you would then complete your Chapter 7 bankruptcy forms. Your Chapter 7 bankruptcy forms consist of roughly 24 forms. Depending on the information you use to complete the forms, your bankruptcy forms could number 70 or more pages. Now, a bankruptcy attorney would generally do these forms for you, and so I'm just kind of assuming that you may decide to use one or decide not. I'm just trying to give you the process regardless of what you decide. You can access the official bankruptcy forms online through the United States Court's website. If you hire a bankruptcy lawyer, their lawyer completes your bankruptcy forms and files them directly with the bankruptcy court electronically. Fifth, having your filing fee ready. The filing fee for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is $338, and you must pay this fee to the United States Bankruptcy Court where you file your bankruptcy forms. Most courts only accept cash, a money order, so check with the court before you file your forms. If you cannot pay the filing fee, you might qualify to pay your fee in installments or have the fee waived altogether. You must file a separate form to request installment payments. If you cannot afford installment payments, you can file a request to waive the fees. I can include those forms in the link in the description below. 6, file your bankruptcy forms with the bankruptcy court. They must be printed on one side of the paper. Review each page for errors and mistakes. If the forms are correct, sign the forms in all the places indicating a signature. You must attach copies of your pay stubs or evidence of income for the last 6 months before the month you file the bankruptcy case, and make sure to mark out all of the last 4 digits of your social security numbers. We'd also include your credit counseling certificate, the application to waive the filing fee if applicable, or pay in installments. There also may be some courts that have local forms that need to be completed and filed. You can check the court to ensure that you completed the local forms and include them in the filing, or you can speak with your bankruptcy attorney to make sure that they are doing that for you. The court usually requires 1 copy of your bankruptcy forms, but you may want to call before going to the court to confirm that they do not need 2 copies, just in case, so you don't need to make 2 trips to the court. Your Chapter 7 bankruptcy must be filed with a bankruptcy court that has jurisdiction over where you live. You can locate your bankruptcy court online, but ensure that you bring your driver's license or any other acceptable form of identification to the courthouse. The clerk then files your bankruptcy forms and returns a notice of bankruptcy filing that includes your bankruptcy case number. The clerk court files your bankruptcy forms and returns a notice of bankruptcy filing that includes your bankruptcy case number, the name of your Chapter 7 trustee, and the date and time of the meeting of creditors. At this point, you have officially filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy case. 7, mail required forms to the Chapter 7 bankruptcy trustee. Each Chapter 7 bankruptcy trustee may have a different process for obtaining documents for court. Check with the trustee's office for your document list you must send to the trustee's office before your 341 meeting of creditors. In addition, some trustees may have websites that explain the procedure. Open all the mail that you received from the Chapter 7 bankruptcy trustee, bankruptcy court, or creditors immediately. The information in those letters could impact your case. If you don't follow up immediately, your case could be dismissed. So it's really important that you really pay attention to all the different correspondence that you would receive. Next, you'll complete the debtor education course. This is the second course that's required to file bankruptcy. Most companies that offer the credit counseling course also offer the debtor education course. Complete the second bankruptcy course as soon as possible and file the certificate of completion with the bankruptcy court. The court teaches you about debts and how to create a budget. The information provided by the course can be beneficial for debtors exiting Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It takes about 2 hours to complete. The challenge is that failing to complete the second bankruptcy course before the deadline means you do not receive your bankruptcy discharge. So in other words, you still owe all your debts as if you never filed if you don't complete the second course. So it's definitely important to complete the second course. 9, attend the 341 meeting of creditors. The 341 meeting of creditors is held generally 30 to 45 days after filing the bankruptcy case. The Chapter 7 bankruptcy trustee conducts the hearing. You must have your original driver's license number, driver's license, and a social security card with you at the hearing. If you do not have these documents, please contact the Chapter 7 trustee's office immediately to ask what other documents would be acceptable, if any. It is also a good idea to take a copy of the bankruptcy forms you completed with you to court, copies of your bank statements in the last 2 months, and updated pay stubs, in addition to taking copies of the requested documents by the Chapter 7 trustee, even if you may have already provided those to the trustee's office. The Chapter 7 bankruptcy trustee places you under oath and asks you questions about the case. The questions may be easy to answer because they're based on the information provided from the bankruptcy forms completed and filed with the bankruptcy court. Your creditors can ask questions, but many times your creditors may not ever appear. If the Chapter 7 trustee does not believe you have assets to repay your unsecured debts and there is no problems with the case, he may declare the case as a no asset case. And you may just receive your discharge within 60 days, 69 days, if everything is completed and filed for your bankruptcy case and your second bankruptcy court certificate is done correctly. 10, dealing with your car loan. If you have secured debts, such as a car loan and mortgages that are not discharged, you may need to deal with those after this last step in the process. For example, you may continue paying those debts, or you may surrender that property all entirely. If you surrender the property through Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the creditor may not be able to demand the money, even if they did not receive enough money to pay that debt when they sell the asset. If you want to keep a car, you have a couple of options. First, you can reaffirm the loan, meaning that you agree the loan stands outside the bankruptcy case. If you default on the loan, the lender can repossess the vehicle and sue you for the money you may still owe the creditor. You can also file a motion with the court to redeem the car if your car is worth less than you owe on the loan. You must prove the car is worth less than you owe on the loan. For this, you must have prove that the car is worth less than what you owe on the loan. Furthermore, you may have to pay the vehicle's value in one lump sum payment in the court's grant if the court grants the motion. Finally, the 11th step would probably be receiving the bankruptcy discharge in the mail that basically helps forgive you from the debt and produces debt freedom that is a fresh start to you and your finances. Wow, that was a lot. Hopefully the Chapter 7 bankruptcy process was good and insightful and help you kind of understand the different steps it takes to go from deciding to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy to actually receiving your Chapter 7 bankruptcy discharge. I hope this video is helpful, and if it was, I definitely appreciate a like on the video, and if you want to watch other videos that are similar to this, we definitely encourage you to subscribe as we create a bunch of content that will hopefully be really helpful to help you kind of understand your options for debt freedom. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you have any comments, I'd love to answer them as well. Talk to you soon. Bye.